My son and I have been on the road for 2 days now, and last night we ended up at this beautiful camp spot up in the mountains here in New Mexico. We got the pine trees, got the birds chirping, I've got a hot cup of coffee, and as much as we would love to stay here because I love camping up in the forest, our goal, we're going into Texas, we're gonna go visit some cool spots, and then we're gonna go wheel and camp on the beach. This is gonna be a great adventure. Stay tuned. Welcome to TrailRecon, I'm Brad, and my son and I are kicking off a 9-day adventure where we're going to go all the way down into Texas, visit Big Bend National Forest, and then go down to Padre Island, which is someplace I've been wanting to go for a while, where there is 60 miles of beach where you can wheel and camp, and this should be really cool. Now, my son is getting ready to deploy for 7 months, so this is kind of his last adventure hoorah before we leave. So we're going to spend some time just, exploring, wheeling, eating some good chow, and then when it's all said and done, we're heading to Arizona where we're going to meet up with Marco, Josh, and some other good friends, and we're going to have a whole different adventure there in Arizona. But this time, we're going to go hit Texas and go explore that. Let's go. Our campsite here in New Mexico was a little out of the way on our route to Texas, but it was worth it to end up in the mountains of the Gila National Forest. And we spotted several quiet, no-fee campsites in the area like this one as we were searching for a place to stay. We were here on a weekday, so there were plenty of open spots, but I imagine in the summer on a weekend you will have to arrive early to grab one of these good sites. I've done a little off-roading in New Mexico in the past, and there are some trails and places I plan to come back and explore, but for us on this trip, this was just a nice stop along the way on our over 3,600 miles we ended up traveling on this adventure. It was just over a 2-hour drive until we left New Mexico and entered the great state of Texas. Texas is the second largest state in the U.S. by both population and by its size. The Lone Star State has a rich history, and I don't think I've ever met someone from Texas that wasn't proud to tell you where they were from. Texas has been known for a long time for its oil-producing fields and cattle ranches, but recently Texas has been seeing a huge tech industry boom, and big companies like Tesla are relocating there. For folks like us, looking to wheel and camp in Texas is a challenge. There are not a lot of public lands here. Most of the land in Texas is privately owned, and there is lots of ground to cover to get from one place to another. So we had to factor that in when deciding how and where we were going to stop along the way. So being a Jeep owner, one thing that we are plagued with is cracks in the windshields, and we were just driving down the road here and bang, we got pegged, and there's a nice one right in the center, and something tells me by the time this trip is over, that thing is probably going to spider web, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Big bummer, but I guess I'll be replacing the windshield when we get home. Well, I think the Jeep God was looking after me because the crack only grew just slightly during our trip, which was nice. A little over 7 hours and 500 miles later, we made it to Big Bend National Park. Big Bend is one of the most remote and least visited national parks, the way I like it. The park is over 801,000 acres, and there are many miles of easy off-road scenic trails to explore here. One of the trails, the Black Gap, is a badge of honor trail and is rated as moderate. But with our schedule and the fires, which I'll talk more about here shortly, we were not able to explore it. But I have a feeling I'll be coming back to Big Bend a few times as there is a lot to see out here. There is a fee to enter the park, and I recommend if you'll be visiting a few national parks during the year to invest in the annual pass. And if you plan on visiting Big Bend and camping, you will need to get a backcountry camping permit and reserve your site in advance. We will be staying in a semi-primitive site, but we still were required to have a reservation and pay for the permit, which we obtained online, but you can do it in person at the Panther Junction. All right, let's get on the dirt. Well, this morning we were in the forest and it was extremely chilly. I think it was in the 30s this morning. And now we're out here in the wide open desert and it's 90 degrees out here. This is a pretty beautiful place. Now, we won't be spending a lot of time here. This is just kind of an intermediate stop on our way to the beach, which is going to be cool. But this is really a nice camp spot. Now, you do need a permit here, so don't come out here thinking you're just going to go find some primitive camping site or go to a campground without a reservation. Even for a primitive campground site like this one, we had to get a permit. Now, you did see the smoke as we were coming in, so that's something we're very attentive to, but it is pretty far away, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. And I think what we're going to do, Jordan, if you're up to it, why don't we unhook and go explore a little bit? What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's do that. All right, so we just came up the Pine Canyon Trail all the way down from our campsite, and there's a couple other campsites along the way. We stopped to talk to some folks, just asking them about the fire, and they said they were here last night. They talked to the rangers, and we're in no danger, and they said it should be pretty cool. You can actually see some of the flames tonight, but we'll definitely be on alert. But the good news is there are several other people before they get to us, so if people start evacuating, they'll definitely let us know. But this was a beautiful little drive up here. Unfortunately, many of the trails out here, because of the fire, are closed. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna head back and cook up some chow. Jordan, what's for dinner tonight?
I don't remember.
Steaks?
No.
Chicken.
Chicken.
We're having chicken and chimichurri rice.
Yeah.
We're having chicken and chimichurri rice tonight. And then what we may do is we may go do a little night wheel and we'll see how that goes. All right, we finally have camp all set up, and check out the view that we've got back there. This is a beautiful spot up here, and the sun has just set behind the mountains over there. So it's gonna be a beautiful night. The guys were telling us that there should be plenty of stars to stargaze. So we're gonna start cooking up some dinner and got everything set up. Now the great thing about the trailer, I mean, come on, we were able to unhook and go explore. That was cool. Now I'm gonna be using the grill for the first time, so I have not used the Weber grill yet. So we're gonna be cooking chicken thighs on the Weber grill. We got everything set up over here, and then this is the magic. This is Trader Joe's chimichurri rice. I have no affiliation with Trader Joe's, but this stuff is really good. Got the chicken thighs, a couple basic seasonings, but this stuff, if you have not tried it, is really good. This is garlic flavored olive oil. This stuff is awesome. We got the stove set up, so we'll cook the rice there, and then we'll set up some chairs here and just enjoy the evening. It's gonna be a great night. What's the verdict?
Really good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, chicken's medium rare, just like I like it.
Medium rare. Okay, he was kidding. We always eat our chicken well done. We enjoyed our simple dinner and the peace and quiet of the desert. After a quick cleanup, it was time to turn the lights on and do a little night exploring. Wheeling at night, even on an easy trail like this, is always fun because your perspective on everything just changes. We were able to catch a glimpse of the burning fires off in the distance, and thankfully, for the time being, we were far enough away that we were not in any danger. It was a peaceful evening, but by morning the wind had really picked up, and because we had a long drive ahead of us and hanging around at camp in 20-mile-an-hour winds is really just not ideal, we packed up and began making our way to our next destination. Well, good morning. It is a beautiful morning, and we just left camp about a half hour ago. The plan was to leave early this morning, but the wind is howling. It's howling right now. So there really was no hanging around camp this morning. We just packed up and rolling. And so now we're on our way out of here. We're going to head to South Padre Island and find a cool spot on the beach to camp tonight. But Jordan and I both agree that Big Bend National Park is someplace that I think is worth coming back to and doing a little more exploring. It's beautiful out here. So maybe in the future we'll do that. But the good news is we've now checked off, we've wheeled, and we've camped in Texas. So now we officially get the patch. All right, off to Padre Island. From Big Bend to Padre Island National Seashore was just over a 9-hour drive and over 600 miles through some amazing backcountry roads. No major interstates along this route, which is a great way to see some small towns in the USA. By mid-afternoon, we had made our way to the Gulf Coast and to the Padre Island National Seashore. Padre Island is a national park, and you do need to obtain a permit to visit and camp on the beach. The first few miles of the beach was full of beachgoers and campers on this Saturday afternoon, but the further down we traveled, the less populated it became. I imagine if we were here on a weekday, there would be significantly less folks on the beach. You can camp just about anywhere along this 60 miles of shore, but be mindful of the tides. Camping too close to the water or during a time of year when there are extreme high tides might leave you a little wet. Well, we made it, guys. After a long drive from Big Bend, we made it to Padre Island, and this is beautiful. Now, there's a lot of people out here, and my understanding is those people are going to start to dissipate as we travel down the beach. The cool thing about Padre Island is there's 60 miles of beach that you can drive down on and camp on, and so Jordan and I's goal, we're going to drive for a while, find an area where it's nice and quiet, kick back and relax, and just enjoy the sound of the ocean. How cool was it that, a couple days ago we were in the forest, then we were in the desert, and now we're out here on the ocean. This is pretty awesome. Well, we're about 25 miles in, and we've decided that this is where we're going to set up camp, and I think this is pretty awesome. Jordan, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool. The fact that you could drive this far on the beach and camp wherever you want is pretty neat. Now, there is a fee you had to pay when you get in here, but totally worth it. Of course, we're on here on a Saturday, and there are lots of people on the beach. I think if you came out here on a weekday, it probably would be a little less crowded. It's pretty nice. Now, we're going to get set up, we're going to relax, we're going to enjoy the ocean. And Jordan, what are you cooking up tonight?
Some ribeye steaks.
Oh yeah, baby. thinking there. Nice job, buddy.
It's good?
That's super good. Heck yeah. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go eat fish. Dinner was delicious. And yes, because Jordan cooked, I had dish duty. It was turning out to be a pretty great evening. Guys, I thought I'd talk a minute about our propane fire pit because I get a lot of people that ask about this. The cool thing about these things is when you're in places where you can't have a ground fire, you can usually have one of these. Now you need to check the regulations or whatnot, but these are really nice to have, and they do put out quite a bit of heat. And the good thing is no smoke in your face. So you don't have to bring firewood, and when you're sitting down, you don't have to worry about dodging all the smoke. And we just took it up to a typical propane tank. And this is now our third night of using this fire pit, and there's at least half, if more left. So this is a pretty good solution. I like these little fire pits. These fire pits are pretty practical, and there's just nothing like hanging around a campfire with the sound of the ocean and spending some quality time with my son. Yep, this is exactly why I love doing this. The night on the beach was perfect, and I just couldn't help myself. I was up before sunrise, started the coffee brewing, and relaxed and enjoyed the sun coming up. Come on, this is awesome. Once Jordan was awake, we cooked up some bacon, which I had never done on a grill, and I have to say, this is the best way to cook bacon at camp. Cleanup was super easy. We scrambled up some eggs, and of course threw some cheddar cheese in there. We were in no hurry at all this morning. Just a nice easy breakfast and enjoying the sounds of the beach. Well, it has been a beautiful morning out here. You know, I got up early, had some coffee, just enjoyed the scenery. Somebody behind the camera slept in a little bit, but you enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good.
It was awesome. And we had a great breakfast, the smell of bacon in the air, the sound of the ocean. Padre Island is an awesome place to come, and I think we were talking last night, I think out of all 3 places we've been, this is probably our favorite. I could definitely stay here for a couple days, but we've got more places to go. So tonight, our goal is to go find some barbecue, because you can't go to Texas and not find some barbecue. And then we're gonna call it and head back west. We're gonna go visit Roswell, New Mexico, just to say we've been there. And then we're meeting up with Marco and Josh and some guys from Center Force, and we're gonna spend a couple days wheeling with those guys, camping and cooking, but we're gonna save that for the next video. So look, I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with us on this trip to Texas. We put in a lot of miles, it's been a lot of fun, and my son and I have had a blast, and I'm glad, buddy, that we were able to do this before you head out for your 7-month deployment. I think this was kind of a cool kickoff for you, so definitely more trips when you get back. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with us. Thanks for watching.